Hello everyone, nubkeks here. Welcome back to Nub Raids. It's the first video I'm recording for 2025, or well, sorry, in 2025. We had a video yesterday. But welcome, Happy New Year to everyone. Hope you had a great celebration over Christmas, the holidays, and yeah, hopefully you're getting out of Christmas mode in reasonably good shape. Now, let's jump in. We have a ton of news today. We've got champion rebalances. We have a new free login legendary with a whole new event, the return of the event dungeon. And we've got a shard event that's kicking off this weekend as well. So, I mean, let's look at the new login champion. Let's look at that first. We have a teaser for this. It is an Alice in Wonderland themed update to Raid. And it's coming on the 8th of January. Let's check out the teaser. Cool. I love it, man. The 8th of January. So cool. I mean, there's only a little bit in here. We can see a soldier. There definitely seems to be somebody sitting down in the background with like a big sword, a flaming sword. I'm guessing that's like the Queen of Hearts with a big flaming sword. There is a little rabbit there, it looks like. Skipping on it. Yeah, you can see a bit more of them. There's like a magic pot. I'm not familiar enough with Alice to know what that's about. We do see that looks like it's Alice herself. It looks like a little girl being sucked into space or the pot or something. We've got the clock. I think that's like the Mad Hatter's clock. Again, this looks like a very Raid Shadow Legends hand holding it. That's cool. But yeah, we've got even more details on it. So here we go. Hey folks, as teased last year, it's been an entire year waiting for this. Peculiar journey awaits all raiders. The air is buzzing with mystery. Whispers of new challenges are spreading across Teleria. Today I'll lift the curtain just a bit, reveal some of the things you can look forward to during the upcoming campaign in Raid. I actually thought that they would be doing their next sort of event campaign in February. They're actually doing it now in January. It's kind of crazy. We might even then see another one like in March or something, March or April. I'm expecting at least two of these this year. I mean, let's be real. With this one kicking off in January, I'm expecting at least 3 or 4 of these this year, maybe even 5. Like, I'm expecting a lot of sort of crossover campaigns. Champions, 5 new mighty warriors will join Teleria to aid you on your journey. While their identities remain a mystery for now, I want to hear your thoughts. Who do you hope to see amongst these legendary newcomers? So interesting that they are legendary. We're not having any other rares, so no mythicals, no epics, no rares. What would we want to see? I would say Alice for sure. Queen of Hearts for sure. Probably Mad Hatter could be good. Cheshire Cat, bring it on. Why not? And then what's the 5th one? I don't know. Again, I'm not really that familiar with Alice. I might have to watch the Disney movie. Apparently, like someone left a comment and did explain it to me that it was based on like a book from I think the 19th century book, and then obviously it became most well known to me would be through Disney, of course, their own version. But yeah, I don't know. Let me know. What else is there in this? We need 5. I mean, I'm guessing Alice will be the login champion. We'll see. And I'm guessing Queen of Hearts might be the most powerful, sort of like Odin, right? We'll see. Event Dungeon. That's right. The Event Dungeon is back. The reign of Odin, Faefather, over this domain has ended. This time around, a new force will stand between you and those precious artifacts. Prepare for a brand new challenge if you want to get your hands on Event Dungeon exclusive pinpoint artifact sets and something extra. Something extra is interesting. I really do wonder what that will be, but Pinpoint is back. Pinpoint is incredibly powerful, incredibly strong, well worth farming for later game players. I think if you're early game or mid game, not that important. You kind of have a ton of stuff to farm at that point in the game. When you get to the late game, it's by far the best dungeon set. By far, it's extremely good. Having a few good sets of Pinpoint can be a game changer. It's really changed up the meta in a big way, bringing bomb champions back in, debuff champions back in at a high level, protecting you from crowd control, protects you from polymorph, but also protects you from crowd control, which is very, very strong. Yeah, it's cool. Something extra in there, spicy. There's also a loyalty program. At the start of the campaign, all raiders will be able to participate in the 14-day loyalty program. Get yourself one of the brand new champions. You're already familiar with the format. In the first phase, players will get a legendary champion for free, so that will take 7 days. Now, if this starts on the 8th of January, we know that the 14th of January is CBC. Probably personal rewards. So make sure you log in every single day And then you should be able to, on either the night of the 14th or on the morning of the 15th, which should still be during CVC, you should be able to get your legendary. Or if I've miscalculated and you're going to be a day early, try to delay. You can do some tricks like open the game. I don't know. I can't remember exactly how you do it. Like open the game, but then or just leave the game running on your PC so you don't log in and trigger the login thing. That can also work. Just ways to avoid collecting the champion if you need. You guys will know the tricks. Let us know in the comments the tricks you can do. Hopefully it will just naturally land within CVC. But yeah, that could, if you miss a couple of days, that could hurt your CVC quite a bit if it is personal rewards, which I expect it to probably be. Yep. Free rewards by opening raid on 14 different days while it's active. So presumably you will get a 2-star soul at the end of it. I mean, okay, here we go. You'll receive rewards each day, including a brand new legendary champion on day 7. Again, my guess is Alice, but it could be somebody else. And a 2-star perfect soul on day 14. And during phase 2, you can get additional rewards. Probably a 5-star soul. Probably. I mean, with the Odin dungeon, with the Asgard, I would say Thor is probably the most iconic, and Thor, because of Marvel again, Disney, right? But Thor was the fusion. There could be a fusion part of that. I wouldn't be surprised. I would not be surprised if the fusion was, maybe Alice will be the fusion and she'll be part of this. I'd say Queen of Hearts will be like the big boss of the dungeon and probably be a Void Legendary, probably very difficult to get. And yeah, then maybe Mad Hatter could be a login. He's pretty iconic as well. And then a Cheshire Cat and then something else. I don't know. Anyway, but there we go. That is cool. So yeah, I'm going to guess actually Alice, probably a fusion. Mad Hatter, login. You get up to probably a 5-star soul for him. It could be pretty cool. I just hope that they do something so I feel like Loki and Skeletor are quite similar. And even, who was the one before that? We had Adolin, right? Adolin was before that. I feel like a lot of them were very, very similar. They're super similar champions. I mean, they all have their own unique thing. But when you think about the variety of champions in this game, they are incredibly, they're all supports centered around debuffs, and they all have decreased attack as well. Maybe Loki doesn't have decreased attack, but they're all these sort of debuff-centered supports. Please, just give us something different. And if you're determined for it to be a support raid, at least make it a buff-centered support just to mix it up. Give us something new. But yeah, there we go. Now, we've got more info, so let's grab that. Okay, summon event for this, this weekend. Got to the day. You get confused with the days, don't you? We've got a summon rush starting tomorrow. This is not overlapping with, I believe, anything in particular. The Winter's Path will end before that. So yeah, sort of a random summon rush in the middle of nowhere. But there are some good stuff in here. So, Ancients, Primals, Voids, everything. Every shard type's involved. Harima is a terrible line. Harima is extremely good. Harima is definitely worth hitting Mercy for. 100%. She is fantastic. One of the best non-Void legendaries in the game. Atharion is quite good. Ultimate Death Knight's quite good. Uko's decent. Even Corvus is decent. I probably would pull for them almost in this order, you know? Yeah, almost in this order. It depends. Like, Atharion is very much a PvE champion, whereas Death Knight is very much a PvP champion. So it sort of depends on your priority. In fact, I probably would rank Death Knight. I'd rank Harima the highest. I probably would rank Ultimate Death Knight probably a little bit higher than Atharion, actually. But Harima definitely number 1, no question. Then for the Voids, Taras, Insensa, and Riho. Again, a really great selection. I probably would rank Taras the highest. The others are very good too. Insensa, still great for Hydra. Probably she's okay for Chimera. I feel like with Hydra, it's becoming less important, really. It's sort of my feeling on it. I feel like Chimera has come in. Instant Hydra battles are coming. I feel like Hydra is starting its fade into being irrelevant. Sort of old content, really. Not irrelevant, but old. I think it's definitely becoming that. And that's more... Now, she'll be good against everything, really, though. And Riho, pretty good. Probably a bit more relevant for Chimera. Yeah, Riho's pretty solid. I think they're all pretty solid. I probably would be looking at Taras as being the number 1 pick here. Because, again, he is strong against a lot of bosses. Very strong. And he's a beast still in Arena. He's still very good. So, yeah. I'd say Harima probably stands out. If you're close to your Mercy on Ancients or Sacreds, great. We've got then Ulfric, Dalaja, and Dahlia. These are all Mikage epics, whichever one you need. Then Madame Ceres and Ursula the Mourner. Again, they're both good epics, right? Ursula is more, I would say, again, PvE focused, and Madame is more arena focused. So whichever one is more important to you, I would say Ursula gets probably a little bit better, but Madame is pretty good. I'd give Ursula a little bit of an edge, I think, overall for general usefulness. Yeah, there is that. But we've got more news. Oh my god, there's more. So stay tuned. So first up, we're gonna have a massive buff to Primaria. Ooh, interesting. Now this buff is going to be very exciting for anyone who pulled Ziklik. She's probably his best ally, and she's getting a heck of a lot better. Let's take a look. With the upcoming changes, our goal is to enhance Trimaria's supporting capabilities, granting her more protective effects for the team, as well as improving her crowd control potential. Cool, so let's take a look at what her actual things are. You can read their summaries there as well. Her A1 is AoE decrease speed. They're upping the chance to place it, and they're upping the chance, or making it easier to place the fear. So, old version was a 30 booking to 50% of decreased speed. That is now going to be a 50 booking to 70% chance of AoE decrease speed. It's very good. It's better than Krisk, right? Then she had a 30 booking to 50% of placing fear on enemies with 20% or less turn meter. Very difficult to make that happen. Now it's going to be 30 booking to 50, but on enemies with 50% or less turn meter. So a very consistent AoE decrease speed and a reasonably consistent AoE fear as well. Nice buff to the A1. A2, this is a big buff. Attacks all enemies, 80% chance to stun. I mean, that's still the same. Before, it was a 100% chance of decreasing the turn meter by 30% of every enemy without a stun. Not very useful. She's void. She's not going to weak hit. She could be resisted, but you really don't want her to be. Now, after attacking, 80 bucks to 100% chance to decrease each enemy's turn meter by 30%. So, yeah, I feel like this is, by the way, it's a 4-turn move. I feel like that is a little bit underpowered. I feel like this could be a 3-turn. But it's kind of like Lady Mikage style. AoE stun with turn meter pushback. I think that's going to be a good solid move now. She's void, no weak hits. Unless there's Poison Cloud or Enfeebles and stuff like that. Yeah, but that's very solid. Very, very good move. Again, it's a pity the cooldown is a little bit long. You know, I feel like when you've got an AoE stun with a 30% turn meter pushback on a 4-turn on a Void Legendary, and then you've got Armand's, who's got an AoE stun on a 3-turn cooldown with full turn meter steal. It's not quite fair, but hey, there you go. Ziklik, you gotta make do with what you've got, right? Then her A3, Beyond Emotions, removes all debuffs from all allies, fills the turn meter by 15%, also puts block debuffs on all allies for 2 turns. Nice, so that's pretty cool. She has a cleanse. It is a 3-turn cleanse with turn meter boost. It does give you more turn meter the more crowd control you remove, which is nice. And then even more turn meter. So a small bit of turn meter, 5% for any debuff, and then a big bit of turn meter, 10% for every hard crowd control debuff, which is cool. Now it's also going to give you block debuffs. Again, so block debuffs for 2 turns on a 3-turn cooldown is solid. So full cleanse with block debuffs on a 3-turn with turn meter boosting. Very good move. That's a really big improvement. Maybe that's why her A2 is a longer cooldown, so her A3 is very solid. Then her A3 is making her immune to sleep. Additionally, stun, freeze, fear, and true fear. Makes it a lot better. Now, it's not everything, but it's all of this. Funny enough, fills her turn meter when an enemy tries to place these things on her. For whatever reason, they decided not to make her immune to provoke or true fear, but immune to the rest. Bit strange, but it is what it is. So yeah, she's immune to a lot of hard crowd control, which again is pretty good, right? That's pretty nice. This really improves her, and I think this really improves her. So she becomes a much better champion. She does have a good speed aura. That's very good for Siege. It is good for running a faction unity team in Siege as well. But yeah, I think you pair her up with Ziklik. He can prevent buffs being applied. Who wants to load? Hello? There we go. He can prevent buffs at the start of the round, puts block buffs on all enemies and can't be resisted. So everyone comes in with block buffs on. Primaria is decently fast. Not crazy fast, but decent. She can come in and then AoE stun people, push their turn meter back. Really let Ziklik go crazy. You could also, again, if you're not confident about outspeeding the enemy team, she does come in with a cleanse turn meter boost. It's cool. You are lacking still a good reviver in this faction. You've got Blind Seer, That's why I say a good reviver. Yeah, I mean, weirdly, Rian the Conjurer might be more useful. I don't know. That would certainly help with Ziklik as well, because he's got so much damage. But hey, there you go. I think that's a nice buff to Tremeria. Cool, very nice. She's not bonkers by any means, but she's decent. Mostly, I would think for faction wars and faction unity content is where she's gonna thrive. Obviously, if you get her early game, AoE stun champ with turn meter control and the AoE fears and decreased speed, it's actually very good. It's a good combo. She's got a good combo of skills for progression. For end game, not great, again, compared to more powerful champions, but she does fit into the faction, and that can be very valuable for faction limited content. We've got one other rework though, and it is going to be for, am I in the right faction? I am. Skull Lord Vargal. He was reworked before, got a massive buff. He's getting another one. Let's take a look. All right, here we go, guys. Another mountain of text for the Skull Lord Vargal. Basically, this is basically a rework, guys. Basically a rework. And can I just say, at this point, me calling this a big wall of text, that is praise. That is a good thing. Yes, 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 yes. I feel like they started buffing champions again at the start of 2024. So basically 1 year ago is when they started actually buffing stuff again. After almost like, well, it was maybe a year. There was a long time where they didn't buff anyone. They started again last year. I feel like they started a bit cautious last year. They didn't go far enough. This stuff is way more what I like to see. Big buffs that really change up where and how you would use these champions. I'm digging it. Skull Lord Vargal. We aim to ensure Skull Lord Vargal truly earns his title as a lord, enhancing his kit to better reflect his lordship status in the Lizardmen faction. So, I mean, I'm seeing, guys, buffs confirmed to so many champions. Half the Banner Lords are getting buffs. We're going to have Lord Chamfort. He's going to get a buff, clearly. There's Lady Quillen. Lady Quillen, buff confirmed. All lords and ladies due to get buffs, right? The Shadowkin. We've got Lady Mikage. She'll be buffed. Lady Kimmy. All the lords and ladies surely are due to get buffs. Yes, I'm obviously joking about that. But I do. That's just a bit of fun. That's not actually happening. In case you're only half listening, they're not getting buff. Only Skull Lord Vargal. Skull Lord Vargal, he is getting buff though. So sort of like a pseudo faction unity champion is what they're aiming for, which is actually kind of cool. Though he's not officially faction unity. Interesting. So his A1 double hitter fills his turn meter, can repeat the skill. Each hit will now have a chance to put, or no, not a chance. Each hit will place heal reduction on the target for 2 turns, and it cannot be resisted if there's one ally from the Lizardman faction on your team. So he is like a mini faction guardian. They're making him a mini faction guardian. So before, this was heal reduction on the target for 2 turns if the skill was repeated. So you'd have basically a 30% chance. That's being buffed to, it just happens. It just happens on the hits, just straight up. There you go. He's placing heal reduction, and it becomes irresistible if there's a Lizardman. His A2, you can provoke a target enemy. This debuff cannot be resisted if there's at least one ally from the Lizardman faction on your team. So that's not a big change, but clearly you're going to be able to build him without accuracy. Now, he does have 70 base accuracy. He's going to have pretty good accuracy no matter what. This guy's base stats make mythicals jealous. Like, it's crazy. So yeah, single target provoke. It is on a 2-turn when booked, which is nice. That is really good for Hydra, but it's not going to work. Not going to work on your auto battles, whenever they come in on Hydra. Almost definitely, unless they improve the AI. Don't expect that. Don't expect it. It would be amazing if they did, and they should, but I don't expect it, especially if they're reworking him here and they haven't said it. I'm not expecting it. Very good for Hydra for manual. But yeah, it's also, this used to be strengthened on himself. I think it's now on everybody, right? Strength on all allies. Yeah, they didn't put it in bold, but it is. Strengthen on all allies. That becomes way better. So you now have a 2-turn cooldown strengthen buff on your whole team. Permanent strengthen. 2-turn buff with a 2-turn cooldown. That's pretty cool. And again, the debuff becomes irresistible if a Lizardman is there. His A3 is the AoE attack with decreased attack. Debuff cannot be resisted if there's one Lizardman on your team. This is kind of like it's kind of a filler move. It's not great, but I mean, it's useful to have decreased attack for Hydra and stuff and bosses. But yeah, irresistible. So everything will be irresistible if he's got a lizard, which is cool. Just stack his health crazy high, make him a super tank. Now, I thought this passive, I looked at it, was very, very cool. In fact, he's got 2 passives. Amazing. So, when attacked, he's destroying HP, max HP. Makes him very good against Scarab. Very good. Cool. He's now going to have a chance to put True Fear on targets with any destroyed max HP. Cool. Regardless of the percentage. So before, this was a 50% chance to put True Fear on targets whose max HP had just been destroyed by 20% or more. Now it will be a chance to put True Fear on targets with any destroyed max HP. So anyone who attacks him gets destroyed max HP, and then he's got a 50-50 to fear you. In fact, no, sorry, to True Fear you, which is cool. That makes him, again, very scary. I feel like he is definitely going to be an enemy you're going to fight in the new faction wars. I think both he and Tremeria are definitely going to be notable enemies in the updated faction war stuff. I'm betting it right now, or perhaps the new event dungeon or something. This will be very nasty to fight against. Then finally, Skullbrood has been reworked entirely. This actually tied into how you got Skull Lord Vargal back in the day. He was a very unique fusion, where to get him, you had to collect 16 Skull Sworns from campaign and level them up, and you could fuse them up into Skull Lord Vargal. It was one of the very first fusions they ever did. This was way before I ever joined the game. They had a unique passive tying into it, where on a 1-turn cooldown, he'd revive a Skull Sworn with half HP and turn meter at the start of every turn. Actually, it was very useful for faction wars back in the day. Make Skull Sworn the squishiest champion on your team. He keeps getting targeted and killed, but he gets revived every single turn. So it's sort of like almost a pseudo taunt for your team, just protecting your team because they keep attacking him and not your other champions. He gets revived anyway, and you can get your 3 stars in faction wars. This is being reworked. If there is, and I believe this will now only work, it will only do anything if you have a lizard. If there's at least one ally champion from the Lizardman faction on your team, revives a random ally with half HP and turn meter at the start of his turn, but the cooldown's been increased to 3 turns. So, your old 1-turn Skullsworn thing just doesn't exist anymore. That's gone, which is kind of sad because it's very unique. So I do think it's a pity that this is gone. It's a very unique little thing. It's a lot of fun. I'd actually like to see maybe some champions doing this in the future. It's just a fun, quirky little thing. I guess it's not that relevant to the game as it is anymore, but still, it's a pity to see it go. But it's a very powerful new passive. If you have one Lizardman on your team, he now gets, it's basically Lazaria's passive. It's actually very powerful, or half of it. 3-turn cooldown, revive a random ally. Now, Lazarius gives them Perfect Veil, but still, that's very powerful, very strong. So you can put this guy in, even for like early game, arena, you put this guy in. If you get a shield set or a bolster set, you put this guy in. He's going to be monstrously tanky. You put him in with another lizard, he's going to be super tanky. He's going to be reviving somebody every 3 turns. He's going to have irresistible debuffs, provoke, bring you strengthens, irresistible heal reduction. He's kind of fun, destroying HP, putting out True Fears. He becomes quite a cool champion. So again, I feel like he's definitely a faction war type champ for sure. Not top end, like end game arena, but yeah, I like it. I have to say, I like both of these reworks an awful lot. They're not making the champions overpowered. I feel like maybe Tremeria, we'll see her in practice. Maybe I'm still underrating her a bit. I feel like she's still a little weak for a Void Legendary. But she's way better than she was before, which was definitely too weak. So yeah, I didn't expect a Skull Lord Vargal buff, because I think he's okay, but he becomes a lot better now. And yeah, I definitely feel like both of these very much preparing us for new faction war content coming out, either as enemies or as very powerful champions now to have on your teams. Both of them very strong as well for Siege. And we also know there will be new Siege stuff coming at some point as well. So it will be new stuff for Siege, which is also pretty cool. So there you go. Let me know what you think about these 2 champion reworks. Let me know what you think about the Summon Rush event this weekend. For me, I will be skipping this one. And though Harima, I would love Harima. She's very good, but I'm going to be skipping it. Let me know what you think about Alice in Wonderland and that new collab. Adventure awaits. It's coming, like we said, on the 8th of January. It's not far away at all. That's in like 6 days. I'm pretty sure that's going to overlap with the new fusion. So I'm expecting new fusion as part of this. 5 new champions, new event dungeon. Looking pretty hype, I'll be honest. I did not expect this so soon. I did not expect Alice in Wonderland. If you'd asked me about Alice in Wonderland like a month ago, I'd been like, no way. But I actually love it. I think it's a great idea. So there we go. That's everything. Thanks for watching. Hope you had a great start of the year, and I'll see you tomorrow for more. Goodbye.